we can think of our body as being a big stack of bones, and that they sit on top of one another, and that they can be perfectly balanced. And the challenge there becomes, well, then what happens when it moves? If I then move out of balance, how do I keep holding myself up? And so there's a possible flaw in the theory to think of ourselves as a stack of bones sitting on top of one another, holding each other up with like gripping force. An alternative theory would be this model, in which the bones are suspended in a web, in a matrix of tensional force.
Fascia?
Fascia, exactly. Possibly fascia would be a source.
Fascia.
And that the bones are actually they're floating.
Huh.
And what's on the ground is simply, whatever is in contact with the support, whether it's sitting or standing. In standing, there's just the 2 feet on the floor. But I can be very out of balance by leaning, and how do I keep all of that together? And how that relates to the work in structural integration and Rolfing. My understanding of it...
Take us home, Michael.
Not being trained, but my understanding from doing some research and reading and having received... Self-taught, that's right, self-educated, is that you can imagine, again, that if this is taken out of some sort of nice balance and these are stuck together, then it limits, you end up with, if you can see, some of these become very slack, and if we think of these as myofascial lines, which would be myo being part of like a root word of muscle, so the myofascial network of the body, if that's what these are, and these are our bones.
Yeah, some of those get really tight, and then some of them get really slack.
Really slack, and so I can distort the shape of this to the point where I get slack places,
yeah,
and then other places that are incredibly tight with almost no mobility in them. And if this can be reorganized into, then it will, like, as an example, if this is my disorganized body, and after Rolfing, I do that, then the body learns the body will go back into the pattern that it has been, that it was born with.